Hello, my lovelies. So, this is kind of an impromptu live. We're just going to hang out and chit chat tonight. So, I want to share some paranormal spooky stories with you guys. If you guys have been with me a while, you know I'm a medium. I definitely channel things from the other side, but I've also experienced some spooky stuff over my lifetime. So, some of those I wrote about in my book, Stepping Stones to Destiny. So, if you've got a copy of that, you've read some of those and know what we're talking about. If you don't, that is for sale on Amazon, as well as my romance novel, The Alabaster Enchantress of New Orleans. So check out the link in the bio or check out the description box of the video. It's going to show you all of those links. So for anybody who joins the live tonight, I want to be able to share our spooky stories or our ghost stories, hauntings, paranormal stuff like that. It is the season. I'm also going to do another ghost hunting tomorrow, so I'm very excited for that. So I will be at a location that I went to previously, and they have asked that I don't share the location publicly. They've also asked that I don't share the entirety of the investigation, but they said that I can share some clips. So I will try and compile a bunch of stuff for you guys for a video. I'm going tomorrow afternoon. So fingers crossed we capture some good stuff. I'd love to show you guys some real evidence of stuff. And we're pretty certain that this place is quite haunted. The employees that have been clearing it out before the remodel have definitely said, you know, we've seen things, we've heard things, we've felt things that we can't quite explain. So we'd love for you to come and see if you can find any evidence for us. So we've got a lot of stuff that I'm going to take to go do the investigation, some infrared cameras with night vision, a Polaroid to see if we capture anything in an actual photograph on film. I have some like little toys that light up that pulse when they are motion activated. Just a bunch of different things. So I'm excited to see what we actually capture. So the other thing I wanted to share was just some changes that are going to take place on the channel as of November 1st. So we're going to start doing some sign-specific readings because I feel like those get a little bit more views than anything else. And I want you guys to be able to watch stuff that you actually want. So instead of the weekly, that's usually a collective reading, I'm going to start posting videos that are sign-specific, and I'm going to encompass your shadow work, your spiritual guidance, and your love messages into those messages. So what I will start doing November 1st, you guys have your monthly up, and that's sign specific. It's already up. It's ready to play Friday, November the 1st. So you guys each have one of those. And then the following week is when we're going to start doing the sign specific readings for each of the 12 zodiacs. They will not all be available on that Monday. So those are going to be staggered throughout the week. So probably about 4 of them a day, one for each of the element, fire, water, air, and earth. And then they will trickle through the week. So you will still have a 1-week read. They're just not going to be time sensitive necessarily like they have been. So that's one major change that we're doing on the channel. The reason for that is because I'm usually posting about 25 to 40 videos a week for YouTube, and it's gotten to the point where I can't quite keep up with this pace anymore. So since March of this year, I'm at almost 900 videos for this channel. So I've been very busy. I also have my TikTok channel, same thing. I'm posting a ton of content over there. And then I'm doing live streams and then personal readings and ghost hunting and life. And it's a lot to keep up with. So what I've decided to do is instead of posting all of the stuff separately, I'm going to start posting it as your reading for the week. And then you'll still have like a monthly message for your sign. And then if I feel like I need to incorporate some other stuff in there, like a singles reading that's collective, I'll put those up on the channel separately. But the reason I'm doing it is I feel like people are looking for their specific sign, whether it's sun, moon, rising, or Venus. I do that as well. I watch other tarot readers, and that's what I look for as well. What is Pisces up to? You know, what do I need to know for that? So I'm going to start trying to do that. If for some reason that's not working out, I'll figure out a different solution. You guys know how I roll. I chuck it in the fuck bucket and say whatever. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, that's the game plan. So If come like 2 weeks from now, you look at the channel and you're like, "What is she doing? Where is all the readings?" It's still gonna be your messages up there. They're just gonna be in a little bit of a different format. So hopefully that works out better for everybody. So ghost stuff. So you guys know I do paranormal stuff. I'm gonna go ghost hunting tomorrow. I will be posting what I can on the channel after I've got everything edited. So Monday or Tuesday, there should be some ghost stuff. Fingers crossed we catch something cool. I'd love to show you guys. Halloween is this week, so hopefully everybody has a good Halloween. I did dress up and filmed a message for you guys. It happens to be your shadow work reading that day. So I am in a costume. You will notice because there's hair in that video. My hair's gone. So I was wearing a wig. It's fun to dress up. Halloween's my favorite holiday. I redecorated my office behind me. You guys will notice that things look a little bit cleaner back there. So that's been changed. Just, changes in the air. We're in Scorpio season. So there's definitely a lot of like transformative energy around from now until right before Thanksgiving, I believe is when it starts to go into, let's see, Scorpio, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, I believe is the next one. Hi, Tasha. Will I ask a question? Are you going to ask a question? What is your question? So yeah, we're doing some paranormal stuff on the channel, changing some things up for video stuff. So just trying to make things work a little bit more seamlessly for everybody. So if you guys have some paranormal stories that you want to share, I would love to hear those. That's kind of why I went live tonight. And I think there is let me see. So I think we should be able to have you go live with us, but I've never done that before. So I'm trying to figure out where that's at on here. And I don't see anything that looks like that. So I'll have to play around with that at another time and figure out how I do all that. But on TikTok, you can actually have people go live with you and it's like split screen. I'm not seeing an option for that on here. So that's kind of a bummer, but whatever, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything. So you had a question, Tasha. What is your question? And there might be a little bit of a delay on the messages on your side. I'm not really sure. But so part of what I do as a medium is channel information from the other side. And I feel like I share way more of that on TikTok than over here for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, I do personal readings. If you guys are ever interested, you email me to book one of those. It's tarotbydamsel@gmail.com if you ever want to book a reading for tarot, mediumship, whatever. And so I just did a live on TikTok before I came on here tonight. And we had one lady that was talking about she captured a black orb in a photograph that was floating around her house. I was like, that's pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a black one. I've seen several white ones. But I've seen like full bodied apparitions and shadow people and things like that. So I'm curious what you guys are seeing out there. What is Dustin's feelings towards me? I'm feeling him close and seeing him driving in my hometown. So if you would like a reading, they're $25 for tarot questions. They're $50 for mediumship. So if you would like me to do a reading, I'm happy to. You can purchase one through the link in my LINKTREE. And that's how you pay for a reading when we're live or otherwise. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If not, that's okay too. So anyways, the paranormal stuff, one of the things that I think was the craziest that ever happened to me, I was a teenager. And I was visiting my dad out in Middle Tennessee. And it was the middle of July, so it was super hot. He didn't have air conditioning at all. It was a log cabin and not very big, a one-room cabin. So about 3:00 in the morning, I'm sleeping on the fold-out couch facing the front door that's open because we needed some airflow in there. And I'm startled awake by the noise of what sounds like the screen door trying to be opened. And I open my eyes and I see a man standing there, and I can make out features. I can see, that he's got brown hair and that he's about 6 foot tall. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is somebody doing here in the middle of the night? And so I no more than think that. And this figure is inside the room with me, standing next to me in the bed. And he looked at me, and I could see his face pretty clear. I could see his features really clear. And he had this grayish blue hue that surrounded him, like all the way around him. And I couldn't move. I was completely frozen. I couldn't scream. I couldn't talk. I could just see him very clearly. And he looked at me and he smiled, but he never said a word. The door never opened, so I still don't know how he actually got through inside. And after he looked at me and he smiled, he like floated across the room to the dining room table and then up one step into the kitchen, and he disappeared. He completely vanished. So after this entity left, I could scream, and I screamed for my dad, and I said, there's a guy in the house. And so he grabbed his pistol and went looking, and there was no car in the driveway. It was a long gravel driveway. The doors never were unlocked or open, but there was definitely somebody in the room with me. And he was so clear to me at the time that I could literally describe what he looked like. So my dad had a good friend at the time. His name was Randy, and he looked very similar to him, but he looked older. And my dad, before I ever came out there, used to joke with me and say, the cabin is haunted. I know it's fucking haunted. Like, there is a fucking ghost in here. He's moved stuff. He didn't like him sleeping with his pistol next to him, so he started putting it in like a nightstand or something. But weird things like the rocking chair in the living room would just start to rock on its own. Nothing going on, no movement in the house. You'd be sitting still reading something and it'd just start swaying back and forth. Another time that I was there, George is the ghost actual name. So George was the man who built the cabin, and my dad's best friend, Randy, it was Randy's dad. George was his dad. So the following morning after I saw the full-bodied apparition, we had to go help him move some cattle on the property. And so my dad pulls me aside and he says, "You need to tell him what you saw last night." And I was like, no, he's going to think I'm batshit crazy. I'm good. I don't need to do that. And he said, "Just tell him. He's not going to think you're nuts." And so I told him, I said, "I don't know for sure what exactly I saw last night, but it looked like you standing at the door, and then somehow was inside and stared at me, smiled at me, and then disappeared off into the kitchen." And he started laughing and he said, "Well, that sounds like my dad." And he said, "My dad loved that cabin. He built it by hand. That was his favorite like hangout spot. Him and all of his buddies would hang out there." And he said he spent so much time there that I'm sure he's still around. And he said he would never hurt you, but he was a notorious ladies' man. So he was probably trying to check you out in your panties. And I smacked him and I was like, "That is not okay. I'm not comfortable with a ghost, coming in and acting like that." And he said he'd never hurt you. And so he had a good laugh at my expense. And that's the only time I ever saw George. But every time I would go back and visit my dad, something weird would happen. So one time, it was like early spring, and so it was still pretty chilly. So there was a fireplace on one end of the cabin and a wood burning stove in the other corner, and we were getting ready to put some wood in there. And I just happened to make a comment, and I said, "I wonder if George will pay us a visit while I'm here." And I no more than get that sentence out, and there was like a piece of horse tack on the wall. It flipped down off of the hook and started swaying like this, like, "Do you see me? Here I am." And I thought I was losing my damn mind. And I said, "Please tell me you guys can see this and I'm not the only one." And they were like, yeah, what the hell is happening?" So let's see, there was another instance that my dad was outside smoking with a buddy of his, and he made a comment that in the 8 years that he had lived at the cabin that he had never had to replace the light bulb in the back porch light. And lo and behold, the porch light went out. So oddball things that it's like, I don't know. Hi, Gisela. Good to see you. So just sharing some weird paranormal stuff because it's that time of year. Why not? Let's see. I used to see shadow people in my house as a little kid. A lot of those. Like, I used to have to sleep with a nightlight on like for years, really, because I was just petrified. Like, every time it was pitch black, I would see things moving. And I didn't know as like a little kid that, I could really see the other side, but that's exactly what it was. It was different entities that I could see moving around. I would sometimes feel people sitting on my feet at night, and I hated that. That always was really unsettling to me. I later figured out it was my grandparents that were just checking on me. But as a little kid, it's just like you don't know what that is, and it's scary, and you just don't want to deal with it. So I had lots of nightmares as a kid. And I remember I used to like run screaming into my mom's room at night. Can I please sleep in here? I'm so scared. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to be alone. And so she'd indulge me and let me sleep in there. So I felt safer. But since I was very small, I would see crazy things. You see them too? Yeah, it's unsettling. Like, even still, sometimes it's like, listen, it is after business hours. Get out of here. I'll deal with you later, but not right now. But yeah, it's pretty common. What else have I seen? I've caught in orbs on some photographs a couple years back. One of my older stepkids was getting ready to go to prom or homecoming. I can't remember which one. And so we're just taking pictures of her and her date, and happened to capture an orb in one of the photographs. And as I blew the picture up, you could see it was two circles right next to each other, and her grandparents are passed. And you could almost see facial features inside of it. So that was a pretty cool capture. Let's see. Just trying to think. There's been so many stinking instances that there's been something weird. Our old house that we used to live in before this one, there were several weird things that happened to us in that house. We could not wait to move out of that one. So one night we were up just being weirdos because we're night owls and we don't sleep real well. We were Googling weird things about the town that we lived in, so it had been there for years and years and years. It was one of the first towns that was kind of settled here in Colorado. It's called Fountain. And there was a really bad train accident. So one of the ladies I used to work with grew up there. And she said, it was almost wiped off the map one time. There was this guy that was like a train robber, and they had this bright idea to get like some dynamite, and they were going to blow it off the tracks to rob it or something crazy. So anyway, I looked that up, and that led me down this rabbit hole of like haunted places in that town. So we're Googling things back and forth. Anyway, long story short, as we're looking up all these haunted places, we hear what sounds like our kids up in the middle of the night laughing. And we're like, what the hell are they doing up? So my boyfriend goes to check and see like who's awake or what's going on. And he comes back and he's like, all the kids are sound asleep. And he was like, I heard laughing. Did you not hear laughing? And I said, oh, I definitely heard laughing. I said, I don't know what that was, but that was weird. Another time he was in the bathroom and he was shaving, and he opened up the door because it was hot in there to let some of the steam out. And he had what he thought was a whole conversation with his daughter. And he comes back in the bedroom looking really confused. And he was like, was Brooke awake? And I said, don't think so. Why? He said, I just had a whole conversation with her, or what I thought was her, in the hallway, telling her go back to bed. And when I turned to look, nothing was there. And I said, she hasn't been in the hallway. Like, the door's been open. I'd see her. She hasn't been in the hallway. And he was like, that's really weird. And then another time I was asleep, he was getting ready for work, and it was still dark outside. And he said there was a small female standing next to my side of the bed, just looking at me. And when he turned on the light, there was nothing there. He thought it was one of his daughters. And so just weird things like that. So oddball stuff. I've yet to see orbs, would like to. So orbs are kind of cool. I've captured some on my home security cameras even. They're like little balls of light, and sometimes you'll see like shapes inside of them. They're usually pretty round. Not always. I have seen some that are like oddball shapes. But they move in ways that like dust particles and bugs don't. And so that's kind of a deciding moment of what it is and what you're looking at. But I've captured them in digital photographs and possibly even like actual film photos. But they're interesting. They're like these little balls of light. Some are translucent. You can see through them, and some are more solid. And they're definitely spirit activity. So I've seen a couple of them where they start out really small and they actually like grow from like a little dot and they get a little bigger. And I think that's another way to tell that it's actually an orb. It's not just like dust on your screen and things like that. Also, how they move. Like if, I have a ceiling fan on behind me. So if I was to see something that I thought was an orb now, well, I have a fan running. So that would be kind of like, is it just dust blowing around or is it something else? So kind of like you got to figure out whether it's your imagination showing you things or is it legit. And you can usually tell the difference. I'll have to dig through my photos and see if I can find that picture with the orb in it and post it on the post tab here. But it is kind of neat to come across. I've only done it a handful of times that I've ever found them, but they are pretty cool. It's neat to see. They're just little balls of energy, and so I think that it's the spirit, it's the essence of people, and that's a way for them to kind of travel. And so they just float through the air as little balls of light, which is pretty cool. I heard the purple or more colorful orbs are higher spirits. Could very well be. So purple would be like the crown chakra, so definitely the higher energy realms and things like that. Would not be surprised at all. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other weird stuff that's happened to us. Oh, one night at our old house, we were just sitting there eating dinner, I think, at the table, and our dining room table kind of stuck out a little bit. And then we had a staircase in the living room that went down to the basement. And our older dog, Theodore, was still pretty little at the time. He was maybe like a year or two old. And so the house is quiet. Everything's dark in the basement. We were just sitting up in our dining room. And he all of a sudden, out of a dead sleep, wakes up and starts barking and growling at something at the base of the stairs that we could not see. That one was pretty unsettling. Went downstairs, looked, made sure there was nothing weird going on down there, but we didn't see anything. So we don't know for sure what it was. But just the energy of that house was awful. And when we moved out and we had to go back to like clean up and hand in our keys and everything, I was physically ill the day that we returned. Like my back was killing me. I felt nauseous. I was getting a headache. And I just thought like I was fine before we went over there. I had to go outside and get some fresh air. And I was like, we got to hurry this up because I feel absolutely like shit right now. And I don't know what this is, but I don't want to be here anymore. And so after that, I never set foot back in that house again, and I never will. Like, there's definitely something negative attached to that house, and I don't want anything to do with it. We had nothing but problems in that house, lots of conflicts, lots of chaos, money problems. Like, no matter what we did, we were just always like in bad energy. And so grateful to get the hell out of there. It's much better in this one, but just weird things like, my boyfriend had seen the little girl multiple times. My dog seeing weird things. Oh, one night we were sitting up watching TV and just bullshitting around, and we were having like this deep spiritual talk about ghosts and other paranormal things. And all of a sudden we both saw a ball of light out of the corner of our eyes at the exact same time by our fireplace. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I was like, did you just fucking see that shit? And he was like, the ball of white light? Yeah, I saw that too. How the hell did you see that? And I was like, it was like this bright ball of light right in front of us. I don't know, weird shit, but we seem to have a lot of weird shit happen. So to me, it's life at this point. But yeah, lots of crazy stories that I have about paranormal stuff. So tomorrow, it was supposed to be today, but we had to reschedule. Somebody had a scheduling issue. So tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to do a private tour to ghost hunt. So the castle that I toured about a month or so ago, we're going back and we're going to go in some areas that we didn't get to go to the last time. It's going to be 4 people, me, the historian, her boyfriend, and his sister, I think. And so we're going to take all my equipment. I'm going to take my infrared camera, my camcorder. I got a new mic for it, so I'm excited about that. So hopefully you guys can hear us good. Let's see. I'm taking my Polaroid because you just never know. You might capture something on actual film. So that would be cool. Like all sorts of stuff that I'm going to take in order to try and capture some stuff. We're going to spend a few hours there. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to capture, but I'm going to try and post as much as I can. They did say they don't want a bunch of this to be like public with like the location and everything. She asked if the majority of it could be kept private, but I can definitely make some clips and post that. So I will do my best with editing to do that so that you guys can have like some good stuff to watch. But I'm excited. So Ellie is her name. She's the historian. She says that she knows for a fact that it's very haunted because she was in charge of like cleaning rooms out and figuring out what was historically important to keep, what was important for like what the building was, all that stuff to document it and to try and keep as much as she could. So she went through room by room in that place to see what was what. And it's been there since the 1800s. So it's super old. It's had a ton of people through its doors in 130 some odd years. And she said, I've seen things, I've felt things, I've heard things. I know it's haunted. And I was like, I know it's haunted too. Trust me. That's why I wanted to come investigate it. So we've been going back and forth through text and email over the last couple of weeks, trying to nail down a day and a time. So that is tomorrow. And I'm excited to go because we're really close to Halloween. The veil is super thin at this time of year. And I feel like spirit's just itching for us to get in there like, hello, here we are. So we'll see what we find. Fingers crossed that they actually communicate well with us. We're going to go back to the auditorium because I was touched in there in the first one. So I had my meter out and I felt like somebody was swirling the back side of my hand. I caught that on camera. So I actually felt that. Didn't hurt or anything. It just felt like somebody was really gently like swirling a finger on the back side of my hand. It was really strange. My meter was lighting up at the time it was happening, and I happened to have my phone recording because I was trying to see any sort of changes on my EMF meter and happened to catch that. So I don't know. I want to take a Polaroid inside the auditorium. I only have a few things of those, so I try and only take them when it's really important. So I'm going to try and do one in the auditorium, one of the outside of the building, like before we go in, and possibly another one in, I think she said it's like part of the basement or something that she was having a lot of either voices or footsteps or something. So I'm going to try and take like 3 different Polaroids in 3 different parts of the building and see if anything happens to pop up on those, because it could. Obviously, I'm taking video on my phone and on the camcorder to see if we capture anything. And I told everybody that's going with us, bring your cell phones, bring some sort of camera with you, and, make sure they're fully charged so that we can try and see if we grab anything, because maybe one camera picks up something and the other ones don't. So we take multiple just to be on the safe side. I've got 4 microphones that we're going to use, so hopefully we can capture some decent audio. I've got my little voice recorder that I'm going to take. So, it'll pick up pin drop. That thing's super sensitive. So we'll take that. We'll ask some questions. We'll see if we get any replies. Gonna wing it like I do everything else in fucking life and see what we come up with. But super, super excited. Make sure you have extra batteries. I've been charging all the batteries. So the mics are fully charged. Like I said, I have 4 of those. So if one happens to conk out, we got 3 more. Let's see, the built-in mic on the camcorder plus the built-in mic in the cell phone. So that's 6 altogether, plus if everybody else is using theirs. So we're going to have like at least, 8 or so different mics working. Batteries, I definitely have extras of those, some flashlights, just a bunch of different things that are in my little toolkit. So yeah, they do tend to drain batteries really quickly. That has happened to me actually at the cemetery. When I first started doing these ghost hunting things like a year or so ago, I remember taking the camcorder because I had just gotten it and went to the cemetery because I thought, well, that's close. Let's go test the waters. Let's see if we get anything. And instantly, like, they started pinging stuff on the little light up toys that I have. And I watched my battery go from 100% down to like 10%. like that. I was like, whoa, that is crazy. So it's weird when you see it happen in real time because I don't know, like, even though I talk to people that are dead on the other side all the time for what I do for a living, it's crazy to have your own experience in real time, especially if you have documentation of it happening on video. It's like, what is that really happening? It's kind of mind-boggling for a second until you realize, yeah, they're just telling you they're here. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm not nervous. Sometimes I get nervous before different things like this. I'm not nervous at all, which usually means we're going to have quite a bit of interaction. It's what's been the theme here lately is when I'm not nervous about anything, all of a sudden spirit really is active. So I'm excited. We had some weird stuff happen in our own house the other day. We were sitting in the living room and our refrigerator makes weird noises. It always has since we've lived here, but it was extremely loud the other night. It sounded almost like gunshots. It was weird. It was like pop, pop, pop. We're like, what the fuck? And so I was just being a smartass, and I was like, okay, ghosts, we hear you. You don't have to make so much noise. And it stopped. And I was like, noted. Noted, it happened. They heard us. So I don't know. Weird stuff happens all the time. I'm kind of used to it at this point, but it's fun just to go see what we can capture, And my whole goal with doing paranormal investigations is one, to debunk it, go, yeah, no, there's nothing really noteworthy here. The other thing is to have some concrete proof, whether it's like a full bodied apparition, some sort of EVP, electro voice phenomenon stuff, physical evidence that we can see, like a shadow or some sort of entity that appears on film. Like, that's my goal, is to prove that we exist beyond our physical vessel. I know that we do, but I think it's awesome to be able to show that to other people. So I love a skeptic. I love it when people are like, I don't think I really believe in that, because that's typically when spirit will really show up. It's like, oh, you don't believe I exist? Well, let me come and say hello to you, because they do that. Did you just pop on tonight? I did. I didn't know I was going live on here either. I just decided I was going to pop on for a minute and see you guys. I wanted to see if anybody had any paranormal stories that they wanted to share tonight either. And to remind you guys that we have just a couple more days until the giveaway is over for the full tarot and mediumship reading that I'm going to give to one person for Halloween. So on the 30th is when it closes. I'm going to pick one random person out of all of you guys that entered by commenting on there, and put your names in a little bowl and pull it out and make a video and tag you in it. And then you just have to email me in order to claim it, because it's going to be here on YouTube, your reading, but it's going to be set to private. So I need to send you the link so that you have access to it. So you have until the 30th, which is just a few more days. What is today? I don't even know. Today's the 26th. So 4 more days to get in on it. It's in the shorts category. I'm in a gray t-shirt. It says naughty, but it's also a little piece of writing up on the screen that says what it is. So just be subscribed to the channel and comment on there. And that's how you enter. Super easy. And it's totally free to you guys. I will do more of those coming for Thanksgiving and another one for Christmas. Those are my gifts to you guys for being here, for being part of the channel. So we've also had some inquiries about hair videos. So that cracks me up that you guys are interested in that. So I will do my best to post some of those. I did one on my stepdaughter, Claire, where we really chopped her really long hair off and made it super short. Came out really cute. Clearly, I've done a lot to my hair and cut it off. I'm going to grow the top out. I don't know what I'm doing with the back and the sides yet. I might keep the back short, but grow out the top and the sides a little bit. So hair videos are something I'm going to start posting more of as I can. The paranormal stuff, we'll do that as we can through the winter time. Obviously, sometimes if it's really snowing, I'm not going to go any place that it could be dangerous and things like that. So more of that's probably going to have to wait until we get into spring again, unfortunately, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to be redoing some things for the weekly messages. I'm going to start doing sign specific stuff for you guys. So, sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever. So I have your monthly messages for November already recorded. Those will play on Friday on the 1st. And then the following week, instead of doing the weekly as a collective, it's going to be a weekly message, but it's not going to be like time sensitive. It's going to be like once a week, there's going to be a reading for each of the 12 signs. So probably like 4 of them a day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I don't know what I'm going to do for Friday yet. Maybe just throw up a weekend message as a collective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate your shadow work, your spiritual guidance, and your love messages into those zodiac readings. So you're not going to miss anything. It's going to be tailored to each specific zodiac sign. I'm going to see how that works. So we're going to see if you guys like that format better or not. And let me know. Comment on the videos. Tell me, hey, I really would like to see some of this. I don't want to miss out on that. I am still going to post probably singles readings separate because that was something that people said, can we get more love readings on the channel? So I will try and post that. Twin flame readings because I feel like people want to see those. But if there's something real specific that you guys want to see more of, let me know. I'm happy to do that for you. So since March, I've posted almost 900 videos to this channel. And then I have TikTok that I post a lot of stuff on, go live on both of them, personal readings. Oh, I started writing my 3rd book this week. So that's another thing. That's the other reason why I'm kind of changing some things, because I have some other projects that I'd really like to tackle over the fall and the winter when I'm kind of stuck at home because of the weather being crummy. So I did start writing my 3rd book the other day. That one is a sequel to the Alabaster Enchantress of New Orleans, the romance book. So this one will also be like romance, but also a little bit of mystery involved in it. So if you're into that stuff, check them out. I feel like the Alabaster Enchantress was really fun to write. And so last night I couldn't really sleep because I all of a sudden had like an idea for the book. Still developing a couple of the main characters and was having a little bit of help with the male character. And so it was kind of fun because I'm sitting here thinking of all these different storylines and like, how do they meet? And what is he about? And what is she about? And like, how are they going to interact? And so it was starting to finally come to me. And of course, it's late at night. It was like 1 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. So I was jotting it all down inside my cell phone little notes app so that I could remember it the next day. Because I was like, if I go to sleep now, I'm going to forget what I was thinking of. And I didn't want to do that. So I jotted down quite a bit. I've already wrote like, probably 15 pages of it in the last 2 or so days. So we'll see how fast I can write this one, but I'm excited. This one's going to tie up the loose ends from the 1st book, and I've never written a series before, so that's going to be kind of a challenge for me because normally it's like all in one and you're done with it and that's it, so now I've got to figure out how to tie in the new characters to the old characters, and I've got some ideas on that. So just kind of racking my brain the last couple of days figuring out what I want to do with that. But it's fun, it's exciting, and I don't know, we'll see where it goes. But I don't know how long it'll take me to write this one. Sometimes it takes me 3 to 6 months to get a book out. Sometimes it takes more like 6 months to a year. It depends on how much time I have to devote to it. So it's just another hobby that I have, but it's exciting. So if you guys ever want to read the books that I wrote, if you go to the description box of all the videos, it's got my Linktree in it. Click that. It's going to have a box that shows both of them, and it does tell you what's what. So Stepping Stones to Destiny is my autobiography, and then the Alabaster Enchantress is the romance novel. This one doesn't have a name yet. We're just calling it book 3 because I don't know what I'm going to name it just yet. I have a few ideas, but they change. So once it's done, we'll figure out what is the title to this guy. But yeah, normally I try and post in advance if I'm going to go live for you guys. I didn't know I was going to. It was kind of a spur of the minute deal. It's kind of late. It's on a Saturday. I didn't know if anybody'd show up or not, but wanted to just check in with you guys because I want to start doing more lives over here. I just don't know when I'm going to do them and like what I'm going to do in them. So maybe when I go live, we'll read tarot or whatever. We'll chit chat. We'll, whatever happens. But I do want to be able to start going live with you guys. The other thing I thought of doing before I decided I was going to do like sign specific stuff was to do either your weekend or your weekly. Maybe we'll do weekends, since I know I'm going to do like your weekly stuff as a sign specific video. Maybe we'll do like a weekend live on a Friday or something where I just pop on maybe around like noon or something and, pull cards for whatever for the weekend. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll wing it. That's usually the best, because every time I say, oh, I'm going to do this, it's like something comes up and I'm not able to. So if I don't make it a super strict thing, it's usually better, right? I don't know. It's just how my life seems to work out, because I had like a gazillion appointments that I had to take care of over the last week or so. And what is it? This next week I have one more, and then I'm all caught up with all the stuff that I had to do. And so that kind of opens things up for me to be able to do other things. So we'll see what happens. No promises. Don't come after me if you're like, you said you were going to go live. I will try my best. But it might be something random like tonight where it's like, hi, I'm available. So it's like 9:30 at night. Hello, hi, how are you? We're going to talk about weird shit, because why not? That's what I do. But yeah, I want to be able to connect with you guys a little bit more. So that is one way to do it. I'm also going to look into, apparently YouTube has this thing where you can have multiple people in the live stream. I just don't know how that works yet. So I'm going to have to do my homework and figure that out. But that would be fun. Like we were going to talk about ghost stuff tonight. And I thought if anybody jumped on and they could do that with me and, discuss their own paranormal stuff, that would be fun. We did that on TikTok tonight too. Only one person had a story. She said she saw black orbs. She said it was the size of like a basketball. Hiccup, sorry. And that the basketball shape floated from the floor up and then traveled through her living room. And then she also captured some stuff on a photograph that was like a black mass. And she captured a little child next to one of her children that was a completely different ethnicity. And he was like about 3 years old in a white t-shirt. And he was standing behind her son. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So she said that like most of her family is kind of psychic or intuitive. And I said, well, it does tend to run in families. And so I explained to her, I said, what happens is the spirit world sees us as like a beacon of light. And so imagine you're in a dark room, but you see like this light, you're going to go towards the light, right? Well, that's kind of what they do. And so I said, if you and your family are like this energetic light, the entities are going to try and come towards that and communicate to you in some way, shape, or form. And she said, that makes so much sense. And I said, it's not a coincidence that you found me tonight, because she had never been to one of my lives before. And she said, I've been trying to explain that very thing to a friend of mine, and everything that you said is exactly what I've been trying to explain. And I said, well, I'm glad I could help, because I feel like it can be confusing on how to articulate those things to people, but that's kind of what I'm here for. So I feel like as the veil is the thinnest right around Halloween, we do start to experience more paranormal stuff, more oddities, because it's easier for them to communicate, and it's easier for the living to see, feel, and hear them, not to fear them. And so that does tend to be a thing. So don't be surprised if you notice a little more odd activity, like spirits that maybe you see out of the corner of your eye, or did I just see that? Like, was that a flicker of a light, something? Because it does happen. So you're not imagining those things most of the time. I would say it's actually just spirit coming to say hi to you. So 9 times out of 10, it's some sort of family member, relative, friend, coming to say hello or interact with you. In other instances, you're in a place that's got like an energy imprint, and it's like a residual thing that's there. Not that there's like a trapped spirit there necessarily, but if there's traumatic events that happen, if there's, negative impact, positive impact, that energy kind of lingers. And sometimes it's kind of on a loop. So it just keeps repeating at the certain day or time. And multiple people usually will experience a very similar event in those places. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that that would happen at this time of the year. So I'm always curious what you guys are experiencing on your end of things as well. And if there's anything noteworthy that happens, I'll try and make a video and let you guys know, because I think it's fun to share those things. Most of the time, I would say it's nothing to worry about. It's not anything that's harmful or scary or anything. While it might scare you in the moment, it's not usually something that can cause any problems. There are some instances of that, but typically those are pretty rare. So wouldn't be fearful. Sometimes they feed off of that energy too. So you want to try not to be scared in those events if at all possible, and kind of reclaim your space, and your power is your own. And if you're having trouble with stuff like that, shoot me an email. I can give you some tips on how to clear that energy out of your space, because it's yours. You need to have it be what you want it to be. So anything exciting going on for you, Gisela? Doing anything for Halloween? Just handing out candy? That's probably all I'm doing too. I might dress up. We'll see. I did dress up for you guys' reading for the day of Halloween, so you guys will see that. Nope, not doing anything. That's all right. I like to answer the door and see all the little guys in their costumes. We'll see how the new puppy does with that. He's never had a Halloween before. Theodore does not do well with the doorbell. He loses his damn mind every time. So we usually have to tell him it's just the little kids. They're coming for candy. They do it every year at this time. And then he kind of gets all like, okay, but I want to see him too. And it's like, you have to be nice. You can't bark and scare him, or you're going to have to go wait downstairs. But we'll see what Magnus does. I don't know how he's going to react. He likes little kids. He's very curious and he's very friendly. But, little kid and a big old dog coming at you can be scary. So we usually try and keep them out of the doorway so we can just give the kids candy. But we'll see what happens. If he's being crazy, we'll just put him in the office or something where they're used to being, because normally when I'm filming for the day, the dogs are in here with me. They're not currently. They're out in the other room, but they like it in here and they sleep pretty good. So if they're being too rambunctious, we'll just stick them in here. That's about it, though. Nothing too exciting other than tomorrow going ghost hunting. So we'll see. Are you guys looking forward to holidays? I kind of dread holidays. Like once Halloween's over, I'm like, not my favorite. That means there's work involved, like cooking and shopping, and I don't think I want to participate this year, truthfully. I redecorated my office. Was it yesterday? I deep cleaned it. I changed some stuff behind me, kind of simplified some things, redid my little altar back there on my bookcase, and just kind of moved some stuff around. I just felt like it needed a little refresher there. It was a little too much. So took some stuff down and cleared some stuff out. I do that periodically. I just get tired of looking at stuff, especially because it's always in my videos, right? It's always behind me. So I need it to be clean and clutter free, or it's going to drive me batshit crazy. It's just the way it is. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hope you have a great time tomorrow. Me too. If we capture some stuff and get a little spooked, it's a win for me. I don't want to get too scared, it's a big, big building. It's gigantic. I don't even know how many square feet it is in there, but it's going to take us a few hours just to explore probably 4 or 5 spots. So it's a big, big building. If you look at, I think it was my last paranormal investigation that I did, that's the place that we're going. They call it the Castle on the Hill. And it's like 4 or 5 buildings that sit on the property, but we're going to explore probably the main building in areas that we couldn't go before with the guided tour. We're going to go to areas that we would only get to go on this private one-on-one, which they're not actually giving out to anybody. So I had to get special permission from the owners to actually take an extra pair of underwear. I might need it, huh? I know. They don't have running water. They don't have bathrooms that are open. They have porta potties outside on the property. No electricity in there. So excited. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So yeah, fingers crossed that they want to come talk to us. I'm super, super hopeful that they will. I don't know. It's like it's anybody's guess what'll happen, but I haven't gotten to do one this close to Halloween, so I think that might be the game changer. Oh crap, porta potty. Yeah, exactly. That's okay. You just don't drink a ton of water while you're out doing these, and you're fine. It'll be okay. Luckily, I live like 15 minutes from where this place is, so it won't take me long if I have to get home, thankfully. But yeah, I'm excited. I've wanted to do this one for probably the last like year and a half is really when I started thinking that would be such a cool place to go tour. And then I just happened to like Google them and look them up. And I didn't even know this place had closed down or anything. I didn't know if it was operational or what. So at the very bottom of their website, there was an email. So I just happened to shoot them an email and I said, what my name was and what I do and everything. And said I would be really curious. I would love to come like take a tour if that would be at all possible or do a paranormal investigation. And so they got back to me and they said, we're actually doing tours right now. And if you would like to come on the tour, you're more than welcome to do that. So asked, can we take video, audio, all that stuff? They said, yep, you can do all of that if you want to. And so showed up for that. There was like 70 of us there. It was a ton of people. I thought, what the fuck? Like, how do all you people know about this? That's so weird. But anyway, so these investors bought it and they're going to make it into a hotel, some retail shops, restaurants, something else. I can't remember what else the other thing was, but it's like 33 acres of land or something. It's a ton of fucking land. And so they're going to keep the main building, the castle part. They're going to keep it, but they're going to redo the inside, remodel the inside. But the outside will look primarily still the same. So this is like the last chance I'm going to get to go in there before they start tearing shit apart to see it. Now, I also think because this happens. I also think that once they start their remodel and they start demoing stuff, that the activity is going to pick up. And so Ellie has my number and everything. And I told her, I was like, if things get a little crazy, you guys can call me. I can try and come clear the energy. But it's a big fucking building, so it's going to take a while. So we'll see what happens. But they do tend to kind of stir up when you start messing with shit that belong to them. Spirits won't care for change. Yeah, they definitely don't. I told Ellie, I said that the fact that you're here trying to document things and protect things, they probably like you because you're actually trying to take care of things and restore it and keep like the value to these things that they had. So they probably like you. I said, however, if people come in with, machinery and they want to knock out walls and things like that, that might make them a little irritated. So we'll see what happens. But in my experience, that is typically when you start to see more spirit activities during demolition, reconstruction, and remodeling. So yeah, I might need some diapers then, just might. I don't get scared super easy doing these. I'm usually more fascinated than I am scared. I'm an oddball. It's okay. I'm aware of that. But it takes a lot to like scare me when I'm in the moment investigating the things. That's not like I'm a scaredy cat. I'm a big chicken when it comes to like scary movies. I am not the person you want to take to go watch a scary movie. I am not. I will ruin your experience. I promise you that. I am the type that I'm constantly like, I will scream, I will shriek, I will cover my eyes, I will sit there and hide if it's too scary for me to look at. So I don't do the whole scary movie stuff. When I was younger, I used to do haunted houses and corn mazes and things like that. And every time I would go with like my sister and friends like that, they would always make fun of me because I was the big chicken. And they're like, how are you so afraid of this? It's so fake. I was like, if I know, I don't know. I'm just scared of it. I don't know. It's weird. Why are people chasing me with chainsaws? I don't know. That's not right. It's not normal. So I don't do things like that. I don't purposely sit and watch gory movies or things with a lot of violence and stuff in them. It actually affects me in a really negative way. I tend to have like imagery stick with me. And sometimes to the point where like it's really bad, like almost like you have flashbacks or nightmares of it. So I can't tolerate stuff like that. But ghost hunting is completely different for me. For me, it's more of the mystery that I'm trying to understand or solve. It's more of trying to understand what's there, trying to pick up energy, trying to like fact find. And so it's not scary to me. To me, it's just a puzzle I'm trying to solve. So I don't know. I'm an oddball, but it's okay. But I'm curious, I want to see out of the hundreds of people, that probably more like thousands of people that have lived there, passed there, um, you know, worked there, like all these people, like their energy probably is still there in some capacity. So I'm hoping that they come and make contact with us while we're there and give us some evidence to show you guys, because I think it would be so incredibly cool if we can capture some stuff. So hopeful, very hopeful. I'm excited. It's like this is something that I've wanted to do for years, really, years and years. I used to watch ghost hunting videos all the time, and I still do once in a while. I'll still watch some. Most of them I think are totally made up and total bullshit. It's like that's so not real. It's just totally not real. And then there's others where I start having like a physical reaction just watching it. Goosebumps on only one side of my body, psychic imagery in my head of things. So those ones I know are more real because my own instincts are picking up and seeing things that I'm not there experiencing it. So how am I making all those stuff come to the surface? I don't know, but I'm excited. We'll see. So fingers crossed that we get some good shit, because most of the ones that I've done, I feel like I haven't really captured most of anything. Maybe a few EMF readings, where the little blinking lights show up and stuff, but no voices, no physical stuff. So that's what I'm looking for tomorrow. I'm looking for the actual physical stuff to show up. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. We'll find out. But my camcorder shoots in infrared, so black and white night vision. So if it's super dark, we should still be able to see something on the camcorder. And I got a new mic for it, so we should actually be able to hear. That was the downside to that new camera. The mic that it came with stinks. It sucks. It's awful. And it's meant to be like a handheld, right? So you can capture sound because you're right here. Well, that doesn't work if I'm walking around an area. I want to be able to walk around and not have to hold the damn thing the whole time. So I have tripods for all my cameras. And I was like, I got to get a new mic. So I ordered one and tested it out like last week or something. And it does work, at least for, probably up to 15 or so feet away. So I was like, well, that'll work. I'm going to be in the same room with the darn thing, but I want to make sure that we can have some audio. And these mics are nice and sensitive. So I know I've had some audio issues with my laptop. That's why I'm like sitting right here so you guys can hear me on that, because I don't have a mic on it right now. But it'll work on all my cameras. So now I have mics for my cell phone, mics for the camcorder, mic that'll work for my laptop, and they're interchangeable. So that should help a lot too. Because that's the other thing. Sometimes when you're out there, you might hear like a faint little voice or a faint little whisper. And my little audio recorder that I have, that thing will pick up, I swear, like a fart in a windstorm. That thing's so damn sensitive. It's crazy. But the other stuff, like my normal, the normal like built-in mic on my laptop, not great unless you're up close to it. My cell phone picks up pretty good sound. Like that's normally what I put videos on for you guys, is my cell phone or my laptop. And I wanted my camcorder to be really good too, because it's like, that's what I spent the money on this thing for, was so that we could take it ghost hunting. So I was like frustrated, like I got to get a mic for this damn thing. And I got one. So I'm good. Have you watched Dalen Spratt from Ghost Brothers? He does graveyards day and night, and he's very connected. That sounds familiar. I can't quite place the name. I'd have to Google him and see what he looks like. Are they black guys, like a pair of brothers that go to a lot of graveyards? I think I've seen a couple of those. One of them, if I remember right, he is definitely like tapped into spirit energy, because I remember watching an episode of that show, and they were in, what the hell was the building that they were in? They were in like the basement of some building, or it looked like a warehouse. Um, Lots of like big pillars and stuff in there. And he was experiencing like actual physical symptoms from what I remember of that show. And I thought, yeah, he definitely is one of us. He's feeling physical things, which happens to me quite a lot when I'm doing readings. Sometimes when I'm just pulling tarot, like the channel's just open. So not like you can close that shit off. I wish you could sometimes. But yeah, so that's who it is. They are funny. I've watched a few of those episodes on, what is it, Roku. There's this, what is the channel called? Ghosts Are Real, I think is the channel's name. And it's got a bunch of different stuff. There's one called Ghost Hunters. There's several of them on there. I watch some of those from time to time. And some of them you can tell are just like total garbage. It's like it's all made up. You can tell it's way over the top. And others I'm like, oh, they're onto something. Like they're legit. So yeah, he's on YouTube. I've probably seen more than that. I just can't place it. One of my favorite channels to watch is Nuke's Top 5. I've watched that guy for years. And another one called Ghosts of Carmel, Maine. He actually lived in a house in Maine for several years, and he started his YouTube channel to document for friends and family what was happening in his own house. Apparently, it used to be a mortuary once upon a time. And like the whole town that he lives in has like kind of a strange history. There was a spiritualist movement back in, I want to say, like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And these people kind of set up shop there, and they were doing some outlandish stuff, some weird rituals and things like that. And his house being the mortuary, there was a lot of weird things that happened. There were specific ghosts that would keep coming back there, and he captured incredible amounts of stuff. So if you've never seen him, he's on YouTube. It's called Ghosts of Carmel, Maine, and his name is Kent. And his family and him have kind of investigated a lot of stuff. He's done other stuff throughout the town, different like historical society type stuff, and he's captured a lot of stuff that's pretty crazy stuff, but legit. Feel like it's very, very legit. Yeah. So if you want to have to change your underwear, there's a couple of them that have like legit jump scares in it. And I don't know how he didn't fall down the staircase when he was filming some of it. One that comes to mind is he calls him Shadow Dude. I don't know why he calls him that, but literally looks like a black mass. And sometimes it has like human shape to it, and other times it's just kind of not, just like the black coloring. And one of the instances, he was going up in his bedroom. So as he's coming up the staircase, he has to turn, and his doorway is right there. And you can see what looks like a man sitting on the edge of the bed facing the window away from him, but it's a black mass. It's a black shadow. And he doesn't ever cuss in his stuff. He literally is like, what the, and he's like trying not to fall backwards down his staircase because he's so startled. So pretty legit. Like, I don't know how he would have faked that, just incredible stuff that he's captured. He's gotten stuff that sounds negative and demonic in his basement. He's captured stuff of a female name, I think her name's Rebecca, and I think she was actually murdered near the house. I don't think it was in the house. I think it was near the house. But she was somehow tied to the original owner, and I can't remember his name right now. Like, he's done his homework on this stuff. He's done like the history behind it. And I feel like that's really important because clearly, like, it's not like the earth is making new earth or anything. What's here is what's here. So there's been people before us that lived everywhere we've lived, right? There's been people and places and things in this stuff. So there's energy that can be left behind from all those events. Like we were talking earlier today, one of the places that I would love to go just to like document is Gettysburg, because it's haunted. People have captured stuff in broad daylight of like soldiers looking like they're walking through the field, or hearing cannon fire, gunfire, things like that. So I would love to go do that and actually like try and catch some footage of that. So maybe one day I'll have the means to be able to do that. But I think it would be so much fun to just go to all these different places and see if you pick anything up. So that's my next big goal. We'll see where we get with that. But yeah, I've never been there. I'm trying to think. I would say the closest I've been to it is North Carolina. That's probably the closest I've ever been to that area. Never had a real reason to go. So that's, issue number one. And then the money to get there and travel and all that stuff is always, just barely scraping by. I'm just a normal person, but I do want to start doing some of these things. So that's what I'm manifesting for the next year or so, is that I will have the means to travel and to go ghost hunting in different places. And this is what I want to do full time, is write books and do readings for people and go ghost hunting. So that's my next big goal. So putting it out there in the ethers, manifesting the good stuff. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. If you don't put it out there and you don't try, you'll never get there, right? So I've had some really big goals in my life before and I've done them. So it's not impossible. Just got to believe it can happen, and it will. Takes some hard work sometimes, but we'll get there eventually when we're supposed to be there. So yeah, the Stanley Hotel out here in Colorado would be another one that I would want to go. I'd want to actually like book a room and stay for the night, and see what happens. There's a gazillion places that come to mind that I would love to go to. There's places abroad that I would love to go see, like in Scotland. There's all these old castles and stuff that I think it would be kind of magical to go. It almost feel like you stepped backwards in time, but different places that I would love to go check out if I was ever able to do that. So another thing that I have to do is get a passport to do that, because I've never left the United States. So that's another one on my bucket list. I got to get a passport so I can go travel and do some stuff. And I feel like that's going to be what starts opening doors to do it. So who knows? We'll see. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see what we see tomorrow. And then, as it comes up, if I've got the time available to go check out more stuff, I will. I was telling people on TikTok, if there's places locally in the state of Colorado that you guys know that are haunted that I could try and go check out before it starts really snowing here, I'll try and do that if at all possible. So let me know. Shoot me an email, leave me a comment, something. And I think you did give me email before about some places. I did look into some of those. You don't have one either? Well, I never had a reason to like go anywhere. It's not like I had friends overseas or anything cool. But lots of places I'd love to go travel and visit to, even if I'm not ghost hunting, just go see some places just because I want to, because it's always been like a dream to go travel the world. I have traveled since I was like 17, different places, in the United States, and road trips and vacations and stuff like that. But I would love to do more. So who knows? Maybe eventually that'll be a possibility. I hope so. It will be fun. Yes, you did. I remember seeing that email. And I did look at some of them. There were some that I thought, that would be a really good one. So I'll have to look into some more and see if there's any that I can do before winter gets really bad out here. Luckily, I live in a place where they still plow the roads if it gets too bad, but I just don't want to be in a place where I'm worried I'm going to have like car trouble or anything out in the middle of nowhere. So I try and hold off until the weather's decent, like spring and fall and all that stuff in summer. So I definitely do more outdoorsy stuff in the summertime because it's easier. But winter, I am a homebody. You will find me crocheting and drinking hot coffee or tea and watching crime documentaries, stuff like that. That is what I do in the wintertime. Not too exciting. I'm pretty boring of a person anymore, but it gives me time to start working on that third book. So hopefully we get somewhere with that by like next summer, maybe before. We'll see. It's weird because when I get an idea for a storyline, I usually have to write it down really quickly, or it starts to kind of like fizzle and fade out of my mind. So I get to the point where nothing else is flowing, and so I put it down and I leave it for a little while, and then it's like, "Oh, I have an idea for this." So, what I tend to do is I write down everything that's coming to me, and then later I have to kind of piece and put it where it's supposed to be in the book to make it make sense. I'm not the type of writer that I can write stuff, like, really clearly from beginning to end. Usually, it'll be like, "Oh, that would be really cool. Well, now how do I fit it with this and that?" And I gotta, like, put the puzzle pieces together for it to work. It's just kinda how my writing has always been. I write with fluency, so I write a lot all at once, and then sometimes I won't pick up writing for weeks or months after that, and then all of a sudden, I'll get the urge to write again and, bunch all at once. The first book that I wrote, um, I spent, I want to say it was like 3 weeks straight of being up literally all night until the sun was coming up, because that was the only time it was quiet in my life to be able to write. And so I would rest as much as I could during the day. And then I would stay up all night and I would write until the sun came up. And it took me about 3 to 6 weeks of doing that before the book was done. And then I had to spend another couple of weeks really editing everything and creating the cover and all that stuff and putting all that together, because I did all of it myself. I didn't have a company do it or anything. I published through Amazon, through self-publishing, and I did that with both of my books. And so it's not a complicated process, but it's intimidating if you've never done it before. And that way it didn't cost me a bunch out of pocket, because I didn't have money to publish a book. I looked into a company and it was going to be like $2,500 or more. And I thought, well, that's just never going to happen. And so I started looking into like self publishing, and I thought, okay, well, it's not hard to do that. But then you're the only person who's advertising your stuff. So that's why I started using social media for things like that, is to put it in there. And every once in a while I post videos of what's in the books and things like that. But it's harder to like get word of mouth out there about your stuff, because you're nobody. Nobody knows who you are. No one's ever heard your name. They don't know what you're about or anything. So that's why I use social media, is to advertise all those things. Thank you. But yeah, it's not hard to write one necessarily. I don't enjoy the editing part. That part sucks. But other than that, it's not that bad. So I have programs that I use to help me like have the grammar be correct. If something sounds off to me, it's like I can run it through that. Punctuation, because I'm terrible at punctuation, always have been. Um, but short of that, yeah, like the rest of it's not super complicated. I've been a writer my whole life. Like I used to journal all the time. So that part's not hard for me. And technology is pretty fucking cool anymore. So I figured out in my writing app that I use on my laptop, there's a dictation button. So I hit that dictation button and I just speak it. And the computer types it all out. I tell it what punctuation I want to use. If I'm unsure, I just put a period there and I deal with it later when I edit it. So I wrote like 11 pages in like an hour or two using that the other day. I was like, that's going to help a lot. And then my hands aren't tired because I'm not constantly on the keyboard. Instead, I'm just, talking to it. So much easier. So bravo to technology for that help, because that will take so much less time that way. But it's, I don't know. It's a weird process, like the creative process in general. A year ago, when I finished my last book, I already had a second book in mind. I knew there was going to be a sequel to this one. So I hurried up and like jotted down some things that were going to be in the third book, kind of like a rough outline of characters and what's going to carry over, what's needing to be kind of loose ends tied up or explained from the last book so that it makes sense. And then it's going to start at like a point where one of the main characters from the last book is kind of trying to unravel this ball of shit that she went through. I have hiccups again. And she's kind of like going down memory lane. And so it starts with her like looking at old photo albums and trying to figure out, okay, well, where did all this really start? And she's kind of trying to understand her mom's point of view and all these other people that are involved in the story. And then it like starts to introduce other characters as well. And I have a really, really cool idea that I'm still trying to figure out how to incorporate for the storyline that has to do with paranormal stuff, for one of the main characters. So I've been racking my brain trying to figure it out. And I think I have a solution for it that it's going to be like a shocker to anybody who reads the book. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's when they get to the end of the second book, that's kind of what I want them to think is, are you fucking serious? Like, no fucking way. Are you serious? That's what happened? Oh my God. I love it when it's like a mind fuck. So that's where I'm going with this next storyline, just for shits and giggles, because why not? Because I'm that person. So no wonder I connected with you. Writing was a goal of mine, but I never did. Well, you totally should. Listening to your adventures bring back memories for me. Happy you're doing it. Well, it's never too late. You could definitely still write a book if you wanted to. And if you ever do decide you're going to, I would highly recommend that you self-publish, only because you keep pretty much all of your proceeds. Like, since I use Amazon to do mine, I think I get, what is it, like 65% commission. They keep a portion of it because they're the ones who are printing it and shipping it. But what's really cool is it's a print on demand. So you send them your template, your book, and it's already been edited. You've already done the cover. You make sure everything works. It checks everything out. And then it sends you a confirmation that everything works. So then you can start promoting it. It's already on their website, usually within like 48 hours. You can send a link to people to purchase it or advertise it, however you want to do that. You can also order author copies at a huge discount. I think I pay like $2.24 a book for my author copies. You can sell those privately on your own, but there is a thing in the contract that says you can't, like, something about like you couldn't have it in like Barnes and Noble or something because that's their competition. So like you yourself could purchase them at cost and sell them like at a book fair or something like that, sell them online, but you can't have them in another like bookstore to sell like that because that's their competition. So that was the only real downside with that. The other thing is that once all that stuff is done, you get royalties based on how many you sell, obviously. And so like mine don't sell a lot all at once, but I did a, what do you call that? Like a sell or something, a discount on them once last year around Christmas time. And I sold 17 copies all at once. And that was the most I had ever sold all at once. The only problem was is I didn't get any of that because it was under a freebie. So you got to be careful with that. But I was excited that it sold 17 copies. I was like, fuck yeah, like I actually did something with myself. So I was proud of myself that it sold something. It was like, I was excited about that. So whatever. But it's a decent amount of royalties. So like my books are listed for $18. I make like $8.50 a book when I sell one. So it's not horrible. It's not great. It could always be better. But again, you can sell them if you purchase them at your author copy price. You could sell them on the side yourself too if you wanted to. Sometimes I order a couple and I'll autograph them and I'll give them away for, holiday gifts or whatever, things like that. So you have a little bit of leeway with that stuff. But I would say if you really want to start writing some stuff, do it. Like, it's never too late. Put it out there. You never know. Might be a #1 bestseller and you won't know until you try. So do it. It's not that hard, promise you. And there's people out there that could help if it came to it. But yeah, I lived a long time without really doing anything super fun and exciting. All my kids are grown at this point. My youngest will be 19 in November. So now it's time I get to go do some stuff I've been putting on the back burner for the last 25 years, raising kids and stuff. And I've always wanted to like go travel and just go do goofy stuff just because I can. Because life's short. We don't know, what if there is no tomorrow and that was it? Well, hopefully you got to do most of the shit you wanted to do. And if not, you're just shit out of luck at that point. So I just want to go have some fun, go have some adventures, do some things, go see some shit, meet some people, talk to people, whatever. Sometimes it's two people and I want to be left alone, but got to go do something sometime. All right. Well, I guess I will get the heck out of here. It's getting late, but I'm going to try and do a live for you guys Friday. What would that be? That's November 1st then. Yeah, that should work. I don't think I have anything else going on that day. Day after Halloween, so we'll see. Maybe we'll capture some cool shit in the ghost hunting and we'll discuss that or do some readings, whatever. I will do the weekend stuff on Friday. We'll do that on the live, and then I'll pull some cards for you guys for free if anybody jumps on. So roughly about noon my time, Mountain Standard Time. It's 10:21 p.m. right now. So I don't know what time zone you're in. I think you're in Central or something. So hopefully I'll see you Friday, and maybe we'll get some cool shit in the videos tomorrow. So, so yeah, I might pop on impromptu in the next little bit and just say, hey, shoot the shit, talk a little bit, see what you guys are up to, and we'll try and do more of those because I think it's fun. I'd rather talk to you guys than just do a bunch of videos. Yeah, so you're about an hour behind us then. Perfect. Well, hopefully we'll see you Friday if you're not busy doing anything. And then you guys will have sign-specific messages up Friday as well for your month of November, because it's November 1st already. This year's flying by right now. So I don't know. We'll see what's happening. The energy is definitely shifting. Lots of retrogrades are ending as of like middle of November, I think. So we should have some forward progress just in time for our next Mercury in retrograde. It's always something, right? So we'll make it, whatever. It'll be all right, but nothing too noteworthy going on otherwise. I'll have to look at the astrology for the rest of the year and see what's going on, and we'll figure it out on Friday. I'll try and remember to discuss that with you guys. 2025, right? It's wild. I don't know. I'm just like, how in the world? I will be 45 years old in 2025. And I'm like, I never thought I'd even make it that far in life. Really. Honest to gosh, I really did not. I always had this overwhelming thought that I was going to die really young in life. No rhyme or reason for it. Just always thought I was going to. And the last couple of years, I feel like my spirit team's like, no, you're going to be stuck here for the long haul because you've got a lot of fucking work to do. I'm like, figures. Figures. There's always something else to do, right? Dang it. Whatever. No, I'm going to be the crotchety old lady that's like, I don't like people. Go away. I don't want to talk to you. Leave me alone. Nope. Get off my lawn. Leave me alone. Because the older I get, the less I like to be out around a bunch of people, but whatever. What do they call those? Trying to think. There's the maiden, the crone. So yeah, I resonate with that. I'm the old crone, the old hag. I just don't give a shit anymore. It's like, I'm tired of trying to be politically correct. It's just not in my nature. I'm sarcastic, and it's who I am. So like it or hate it, this is what you get. But hopefully you guys laugh at me when I goof up in videos and stuff. I laugh at myself. I watch the videos back and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't care. It's part of being human. We all make mistakes, and I'm definitely far from perfect, and I'm not trying to be. So just being myself, being a weirdo. That's what I do best. So we'll see you for Friday. Have a good Halloween. And if you haven't entered the giveaway, do that. Just make sure you go comment on the video. It's in the shorts. It says that it's for a freebie or a giveaway or whatever. Comment on there. I already know you're following the channel, so comment on there. You got as good a chance as anybody to get in on a free reading. So go comment if you haven't. And anybody else who watches this, you have until the 30th of October to comment. You must be following the channel, and yes, I can check. So I do that, and I put everybody's name in a bowl, pull it out, make a video, tag you in it, and then you just have to email me to claim it, and then I will do it at some point this week. I'll try and do it on the 30th, and if it's not, it'll probably be on Halloween that I actually do it. So one or the other. All right. So I will see you guys later. Take care of you as well, Giselia. Gisela. I don't know why it was Giselia just now. Gisela. I know how to say your name. I had to practice. And I will see you guys on Friday. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you soon.